And we are live.
Aloha snack bar. That was one of my finest snack bars ever done, CJ.
That
Yeah,
was the
CJ, brother.
best. The
There you go.
best. That
Yeah,
was the
yeah.
best. The best.
The
We're
the
here.
the Yeah, we're here, and the artist formerly known as Dex the Vulcan will not be joining us today. We're gonna have to reschedule with him later on in the week. He's having technical issues. His underground bunker slash server room has been fragged, and he has no air conditioning down there. The guy is like Samuel L. Jackson in Jurassic Park, where he's like literally in front of a computer typing keys and nothing's happening. And he's like, hold on to your butts. He's doing one of those things. So he's freaking out. So we just told him we're going to reschedule. But there is a lot of things to cover. We're going to probably run a quick, 15, 20 minutes. Nothing too crazy, nothing too long. So CJ, where do you want to begin, bro? Let's bang this out.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Let's go for it. Looks like gold spiking right now at 1275. So that's a
Yeah.
great move. That's a little bit of an indicator of things to come, right?
Yes. You know what, the volatility, remember a couple of days ago I said this, that as the world tensions build up, the volatility is going to go crazy. And volatility will go crazy. You're going to see the markets going up and down, but it's going to be trending up. We're still down 29,000. Nothing is going to change that trajectory. But what's going to change the trajectory, guys, is there's going to be a flight to safety. So for the first time in a long time, you're going to see people jumping out of the bond market because there's a lot of fissures there. Okay, there's a whole bunch of issues within the bond market that they just cannot keep manipulating the bond prices and the bond yields this low. So you're going to see a flight to safety. Flight to safety for most people who are fund managers and whatnot that are here in the United States, that are in Europe, will be to get into the U.S. equities. So that's why we're going to see this march in equities along with the algos that are triggering. Those algos, Dex will tell you, are still triggering go, 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 go. So we're going to hit that trajectory down 29,000, but at the same time, instead of bonds, what else is the safe haven? Well, what's been the safe haven for the last 6,000 years? It's going to be gold. Latest report also, CJ, was SRS Rocco's report. 83% of all bullion sales going on in the United States are being absorbed and taken and scuttled over into China. So that is showing you, okay, what else is happening, bro? Oil spikes, right?
Yeah, I mean that was on my radar, earlier today, thinking about it in terms of the instability right now with the Syria but now we have OPEC under the Saudis is looking at trying to, cut oil production a little bit, which we know that's going to affect pricing, V.
Man, it's gonna massively start affecting pricing. But again, we know it's a glut. They're trying to, the speculators are trying to make as much money on the way up. Look for it to come down a little bit. I think oil is going to be floating around anywhere between 40 to $50 a barrel going into the summertime. I don't see a spike going past 65 or 70 coming this summer, unless, of course, there's the whole wider Middle East thing gets played up even more, and then you can start seeing oil probably going up and getting back to its normal levels of anywhere between $65 to $80 a barrel. We'll see what happens. Again, it's not going to be brought there because of any sort of metrics in consumption, but has everything to do with speculation and the future forecasting as to what the volatility would be in the extraction, transport, and refining capability of petroleum going into the summertime, CJ. So that's what I see there. Another thing that's hot on the menu, CJ, corporate pensions are about to start dumping their $1 trillion in equity holdings. Massive, as pensions are going bust. We're seeing it all over the country. It is spreading like wildfire. The domino has been tipped. The flight to safety. Where will the brain dead fund managers go, CJ? That is the $1 trillion question.
Well, hopefully they don't go just dumping it all in the markets. I mean, if you think about in terms of the pensions, V, over the last, and we've talked about this at least the past year, the fact that the pension funds are paying out more than they're bringing in currently, and there are several states. We've named them: Illinois, Texas, New York. All, especially if you're in the public sector, the private sector. If you're working in the public sector in regards to city, a teacher, fireman, any type of those pensions, now's the time to start taking a look at that and saying, well, where exactly is my money? And we've had great people
CJ?
on. This past Friday we had Gus Demos in that can help you with your 401k, with your pensions to help diversify that.
Right, absolutely, 1000%. And in interest of full disclosure, you set up with Perpetual Assets. You get a few dollars kicked our way to help keep the lights on here at Rogue Media. With that being said, CJ, we have bank stocks slammed as Treasury curve crumbles to 6-month lows, man. What's my take on that? Well, here's what I think, buddy. What I'm starting to think is, yeah, bank stocks are racing that 10% gain since Trump came into office. I think what we are going to see is going to be very critical here. I think it's going to, again, it's being slammed down, and I think it's going to pick back up. Again, you cannot have, bank stocks and U.S. financials basically in the toilet or very low as we're ramping up to Dow 29,000. The financials are going to be pretty much stable to where they typically are. I don't see a huge rise or spike in it, but you're going to see some volume there to begin with. With that being said, CJ, what else is on the radar for you, my man?
This whole thing with China, how's China keeping its financial system from collapsing in one chart? China, granted their financial system, but may be in a little bit of difficulty, but they don't have the debt that we carry here in the United States. So, in terms of their GDP and the production, yes, Americans, we do consume, but as you've pointed out many times, V, that the manufacturing side of China is just one facet of their very diverse economy.
Absolutely, man, and they are very liquid, and they are very what's the word I'm looking for? One second. Yeah, it's a very liquid economy. They're much more liquid market than ours. They don't carry the type of debt that we do at the end of the day. So long term, again, they knew they're gonna have some keep up with us, man. Is on the radar here. Well, the other thing that's kind of big that we need to watch here, again, airline stocks. You see, United Airlines, they got skewed because what happened there, man? I think airline stocks, ever since that guy got drug off the plane or something like that.
It was huge, right? They just, they called it out. Now, again, United, they should have, most of the time I've ever flown that they're over capacity, they announce that way out in front. They typically give great incentives to entice people to get off the flight. I don't know how in the world this happened. You there, V?
Yeah, you're having some network trouble, man.
I am? Am I staticky?
Yeah.
Am I not clear?
No, you're getting cut out.
Can you hear me now? V, can you hear me now? V, you there? Okay, it might be V.
Tech issues everywhere.
Yeah, it sounds
yeah,
like
I can hear you.
Okay, all right. So yeah, so again, in terms of them dragging him off the flight, yeah, he's catching a lot of heat from that. The airline is.
Absolutely, man. And if you look at the jobs numbers real quick, CJ, let's close off the job numbers. What's the latest on that, man? It's not as hot as people thought it was, huh?
No, the recent job numbers came out well below the mark. I think it came at 95,000 jobs gained in the month of March. Is that correct?
Correct.
So and then they were anticipating, at least well over was like $125,000 add, to the job market, and hence the reason why the job-killing Obamacare bill, needed to be repealed and replaced, in particular to the part-time. There's so many. We've been replaced in a part-time economy. V. We no longer, corporations and companies are no longer hiring those, full-time employees anymore. They're just strictly hiring, part-time help, part-time seasonal help, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now.
Unless we get the yoke of Obamacare off our necks, this is how it's going to be. How can you expect job investment? How can you expect job growth when you have job-killing regulations and a job-destroying Obamacare? On top of that, you have never-ending QE. I don't care what the Fed says, saying, oh, we stopped QE, now we're doing rate hikes. They are still fudging the market. They're still manipulating the market. Thus, what happens with that type of central bank involvement, CJ, is you have capital destruction. And that's what we're seeing. Capital destruction, capital malformation, and here we are today, bro.
Yeah, and we're going to continue to see it with automation taking over so many different industries, whether it's banking or it's restaurants with their little self-order kiosk. I mean, this needs to be just an eye-opening, chart in terms of the job numbers and the projections. And unfortunately, with the gridlock that's occurring in DC, with the recent events geopolitically, that's going to keep a lot of companies a little bit stressed, a little bit timid around pulling the trigger on as far as investments in terms of creating any type of new jobs. It's going to hinder us for a while. So the sooner that they can decide, the sooner that they can keep or get rid of the gridlock that's occurring right now in DC, the sooner that American companies are going to have the confidence that they had at the beginning of the year.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. With that being said, guys, I think we pretty much ran down a quick little market synopsis real quick, and we'll cover the rest at some point during the week or the following week. We'll see when Dex can get back on. Any last words, CJ?
No, I just, with the audience again, we just at least want to jump on and just go over some information. I apologize, it was kind of missed show, but it was nothing on our part,
The
just some
Rogue Money
technical
Facebook
issues.
page. Yep. Yep, absolutely. So that being said, CJ, take us away, buddy.